TGCRequiem here. We are playing Grixis Death Shadow with Baubles today. Kind of an average hand. It's kind of average, but we do have Stubborn Denial, Inquisition. I think we can actually keep this. Again, a bit average. We are going to go Bauble. Lead with the Bauble, check out what we have on top. This will allow us to determine whether or not we want to force the Inquisition turn 1. Death Shadow on top, so we want to keep that on top, so we're just going to go ahead and play out the Bloodstained Mire. Pass, and then we use Stubborn Denial to protect ourselves from like a Thoughtseize or Inquisition, something like that. So we got Burn. So Timber Battle Rage is actually pretty good here. I think we're okay to take one fetch for a shock right here, and we'll use that to opt. We'll probably plan to get a basic with the next fetch. Really looking more for interaction. So I think we're gonna go, we don't have the ability, we can get down to 12, or sorry, 13 this turn. So I think we go Scalding Tarn, that way we can crack it for a basic island. That allows us to get a red shock for Temur Battle Rage maybe the next turn. So Inquisition, we're just going to go for the most mana efficient spell here, which is going to be the Boros Charm. Lightning Helix can certainly swing things, but it's actually going to be more favorable for us than them. If they do a Lightning Helix in response to an attack, they're going to gain 3 life, we're going to lose 3 life, which is actually going to, with a Temur Battle Rage double, we'll do 6 damage, so it'll actually be stronger for us anyway. And just most mana efficient, otherwise our opponent's kind of flooding out a bit, which is good for us. And then we'll just wait and see what our opponent does next turn. We can Thought Scour or Stubborn Denial. Really not going to Stubborn Denial first Lightning Helix anyway. The one benefit here, if we go for a fetch, knowing what they have 6 points of burn in hand. They could potentially have, technically they could have 10, but they can't distribute it quickly enough. So let's say worst case scenario, they have like a lightning bolt. At this point, we are going to take no more than 6 next turn, which puts us down to 9, 6. So this is going to give us our best shot to win, I think, is to actually fetch for Steam Vents right now. Then we will just Thought Scour, and for our opponent, Lightning Helix is us. We are fine because of the Stubborn Denial anyway. And we want Steam Vent so that we can Thought Scour. So again, we know that they have 6. Most they could have 9. We could put ourselves down to 9. They can't do that much damage to us anyway. But if we put ourselves down to 9, we make a pretty big Death Shadow, which I think is what we want to do, because that also allows us to play out our Opt this turn and really set up the best sculpted hand for the following turn. We're actually going to be a little aggressive here with our life total, more than we probably normally would be in this matchup. And our opponent has 6 damage, 6 burn that we know about. I think we're safe to fire off the Opt right now. Really what we're looking to do here is set ourselves up for, what do we have in the side, or in the graveyards? Thought Scour, Dismember. Really, I'm looking for like a second creature right now. A reason why we would feel safe to tap out with that last black source. Battle Rage is not what we're looking for. But again, we're still in a good place. We have our Stubborn Denial to protect us. We're absolutely going to allow our opponent's first Lightning Helix to resolve here. We want them to drive our shadow up. Gives us flexibility with Polluted Delta to try and burn them out. Okay, Boros Charm. Does that change the math? They still can only do 6 points of damage to us max next turn. And we can counter one of those. So I think we're good. We take the Boros Charm. Doesn't really change the math. They're still going to get 1 spell through the Stubborn Denial next turn anyway. So it doesn't really matter if we Stubborn that in hopes of them only doing 3 damage. Puts us down to 2, and then we can crack ourselves down to 1. We've got 24 damage back at them. Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, something to that effect. And again, we know they're tapped out. They did use a Wooded Foothills, so beyond that, it doesn't really matter. So they can eat 2 points of damage, so we're sending 22 in. Just to play around any shenanigans. Alright, and then that's how you beat Burn. Alright, so turn 4. Nice. Begin sideboarding. So in the post-board matchup, again, we're not trying to be too aggressive with our life total. We were able to be, we were a little flexible, a little more aggressive than normal, just based on what we saw from our opponent. We want to pull out our Street Wraiths. We're going to bring in our extra Stubborn Denial. Collective Brutalities are a must. And so we could possibly bring Street Wraith in. I don't really want to pull the Inquisitions or Thoughtseizes. Thoughtseizes typically are going to be a net positive for us. You know, one, they grow our Death Shadows, but two, we're at least taking a card out of their hand that could do more damage, right? So, you know, Thoughtseize a not a Death Shadow, a Goblin Guide, you're, you know, probably saving yourself at least 2 life. Most of the spells you're saving at least 1 life. A Boros Charm, you're saving 2 life. An Eidolon, you could be saving yourself 6 life. So again, we're not going to pull any of those cards out. The Dismembers, we want all the Anglers. I'm trying to think if there's any reason we might want Echoing Truth. I actually think we probably want to... Like, it seems like an easy bring in. The question is whether or not we want to. I don't think, like, usually we're doing our damage in like chunks. So Rakdos Charm, they don't get enough creatures wide enough for that to matter. If they attack our graveyard, they're probably doing it with Rest in Peace. So, you know, Artifact Hate doesn't really do much. Graveyard Hate doesn't do much. You know, we could bring in Young Pyromancer, but I think the strongest card here is Liliana, which means we want to pull 1 more card. And if that's the case, maybe we just pull the one. We could either pull the one Dismember. I think we're actually going to pull Dismember here. I still think Thoughtseize is more effective. And then we'll just run with this. Now we need to be aware that our opponent is likely going to try and play some Deflecting Palms, Path to Exiles, things like that. If we do see one newer thing that I've seen lately, opponent kept 7, we're going to definitely mulligan this. Sunburn decks are running... This is actually a really strong hand without the 1 land. But I think it's strong enough that we keep it, and we're going to get a Scry, and we're on the draw, so the hand is powerful enough to risk it with 1 land here. Put that on the bottom. Land is priority number 1 here. But I've seen some of the burn decks running... Oh shoot, I'm not going to remember what it's called now. Chain to the Rocks. And so it's possible if we see that we might want to bring Echoing Truth in as like a end-step way to get creatures back on the battlefield unexpectedly. Hopefully we'll just hit a fetch or a basic. Gurmag Angler. Really not what we're looking for with this hand. Alright, so priority 1 here, we do need to take the shock because we need to go steal an Eidolon if they have one. An Eidolon on the play is just going to be super powerful for them. Bingo, bango, bongo. Right, I just said that. Now if they try to hold up Lightning Helix the next turn, you know, even if we get stuck on a mana, we can potentially Stubborn Denial it. Maybe they just go for it now. Oh, they hit another Eidolon. Well, thankfully we have this Brutality. If we can hit another land here, we can actually have a pretty powerful turn, taking their Lightning Helix, killing the Eidolon. Yes. And we even get to fetch for a basic here. Question is whether or not we actually want to gain life or not. So if we fetch down to 11 and gain 2 life, we can't let the Shadow live, but then we could play it off of Blood Crypt the next turn. Well, let's think about this. If we're going to pitch all those cards, what do we want to pitch? I don't think we really even want to pitch more than 2 cards. And we know what 3 cards they have in hand. So if we actually fetch ourselves down to 11, that gives us a 3/3. Well, no, because we're not actually going to be able to cast the Shadow this turn, so our Shadow will be a 5/5 the next turn. I actually think we actually run the Blood Crypt out now, Collective Brutality. Honestly, I think we just pitch. I think we end up pitching the Liliana. Possibly we want to pitch Gurmag. I mean, if we're going to play Collective Brutality. If we pitch a Liliana, we're going to have 3 cards in the graveyard. We're going to fetch. We'll have 7. Yeah. Our opponent saw the Pluto Delta. Maybe we just don't want to show the Blood Crypt yet. Maybe we pitch the Death Shadow and play the Gurmag Angler. And then use the Liliana to pressure our opponent. I think we're actually going to pitch the Gurmag Angler here. I think I'd rather Liliana. No, we really want the Angler. I want to be able to close fast once we start to lock them down. So now we're in a position where a fetch land next turn allows us to play both Death Shadow and Gurmag Angler. Or we can play just the Death Shadow and hold up Stubborn Denial, the tap Blood Crypt. Dismember is an interesting draw because we can actually end step Dismember ourselves. Do an extraordinary large amount of damage in one. So are they gonna crack this to try and pay a light or pay 1 mana? Fetch. Okay. So really we're still in strong shape so long as they don't draw Boros Charm here. We attack for 9, they chump. I mean, they've got to be in a position where they just chump, right? Which means do we dismember, do 9, which threatens lethal the next turn? I mean, we could play Steam Vents. Either way, we can do this at the cost of 2 life, but that opens up so many draws. I think we just start by attacking, see what our opponent's going to do. I could see them not attacking on the basis that the Goblin guy is lethal with any 3-drop or 3 damage burn spell. They know about the Dismember, so we're going to hold up the mana just to threaten the Stubborn Denial. I guess I forgot about the Rift Bolt. Shoot, so they're live to any removal spell now. And now the way we play that out leaves us dead to a path. Whereas if we had played out the land, lost the 2, I guess no, then we were dead to the Rift Bolt. So yeah, I guess we still played that right. Magic is hard, okay. Maybe they just drew a land. See here? Oh no. Yep. All right. Looks like we got it. So a lot of time on the clock, but again, there's a lot to think about from this side. It's pretty fast in terms of the number of turns. We only played 9 turns that game, but a lot to think about because your life total really does matter. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you do enjoy, please feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions, add some comments in the bottom. I try to respond to as many as I can. Otherwise, have a great night and see you later.